Hey, how's it going guys? It's the Jacketing back for another video. So for today's video, I have some kind of sad news for some people, not a lot of people I guess. But so this game here that you can see on your screens is Data Live Spirit Pledge. They remade it, so I guess it's like HD. But anyways, this game is shutting down on the 20th of May 2023. And you can't download this game anymore, so if you had an existing account before and you still kept the application, then you can still play until said time. So I kind of wanted to do this video to kind of look back on this game, what it did wrong, what it did right in some instances, and kind of just I kind of also want to sort of archive this game. Because Stay Alive is a very important franchise to me. It's kind of one of the very first, I guess, anime or anything to do with manga that I really got into, or that I ever really watched, really. And just the anime with the OSTs and the characters, especially the English dub cast, has a really important place in my heart for me. It's a very important show. Or franchise, like I said. So yeah, like I said, I just want to kind of talk about it, and while I talk about it, I kind of want to, I guess I'll show off the characters, the illustrations, and so on and so forth. So obviously this game is shutting down, and why is this? Well, I think this is kind of the same reason for if you watch my Crossing Void shutting down video, where they weren't really making content. But with Data Live it's a bit different, because with the original version of the game, so the original Spirit Pledge that came on global, they released it, and after about, I'm fairly sure it was like a year or two after it came out, the game was dead. There was pardon me, the game was dead. There weren't any events for like 6 months, I'm fairly sure, if I recall correctly. And it looked like the game was going to shut down, but then they announced that they're going to do a HD version of Spirit Pledge, which obviously they promised that they would revamp a lot of things and make things a lot better. And if you take a look at like I'm just showing right now, these illustrations, they look so much better than the original Spirit Pledge. They look like, because they're animated and they're really cool, and they've got different illustrations, and it's goddamn adorable, man. I bloody love it. And you know, and this is one of the, I want to get into one of the strong points of Spirit Pledge, right? So if you're a massive Data Live fan, so you've probably read the light novels, you've probably seen the anime, and you've probably played the games. Now there are 4 games right now, and when I mean games I mean like console games, because obviously this is a game. So there's the, what is there? So there's like the Rio Reincarnation, which is what got released to the West and to the rest of the world outside of Japan was a kind of trilogy of games. So I think it was Arisu Install, Rene Utopia, and Rio Reincarnation. And the latter was like the name of like a trilogy that they shipped out to the rest of the world. And they also have a final 4th game that's only in Japan right now called Rin Dystopia, I believe is what it translates to, or I don't know if that's the exact name, but they included like these game characters that you wouldn't really otherwise see, right? And I was lucky enough, I think I was lucky enough to pull Rine Sonogami, which is the titular character of the first visual novel game they released, and I absolutely love it to bits. I think it's a really fucking cool game. Like, just I kind of want to talk about this game while we go on. I'll not just carry on with the illustrations, and I'll just talk about the game. What I love about the first game, I think the first game is absolutely the best out of the 3. And sadly, I think the 3rd one, I haven't played the 4th one, but the 3rd one is my least favourite, because for me I thought it was a lot shorter than the rest, and it wasn't as interesting, and it didn't really play with the theme. Or it had a theme, but it wasn't as interesting as the other ones, right? It was a proper follow-up to the first and second game, but it didn't really add much to it. So yeah, basically, the first game is like, not to spoil anything, but Shido's trapped in like a sort of, how do I put this? He's trapped in a utopia, hence the name of the game, Rene Utopia. And he keeps living life like every day, and slowly but surely he realizes, oh, he's in a loop, right? But so you can go through the conversations with all the characters, the spirits, and if you make a wrong choice, like you decide not to go with origami, I'm gonna spoil one like bad end out of many, but if you choose like not to go with origami on the like you have go with origami or do something else, if you pick do something else, you come back and there's like a text where Shido learns that she gets hit by like a fucking car and she just dies. You're like, what the fuck? And it's game over. And I think that's I found that so goddamn funny, because it comes out of nowhere, you're not expecting it, right? And so the first game, you have so many of these things where you'll be playing the game casually and you'll click a text and it'll be like, oh, game over. What? And you have to restart the whole damn thing. Luckily, once you've read like one page, or not a page, once you've read a section of a text, you can like reskip it. So it's kind of like, this game is how I would have imagined a ReZero game to be, in the sense that like if you die, you restart from the start, and then you can choose what to do, right? But instead of it being strategy and all that, it's just dating, and you get to choose a different character every time, and then you get their specific endings, and once you do all the characters, you unlock the true ending, so on and so forth. Which is, you know, I really love that game. I think it's really good. The second game is quite good as well, but the second game is a lot different from the first game. It includes a lot more spirits, and the third game, I don't think it includes many more spirits. It doesn't even include Natsumi. That's how I guess old the game is, in a way, because season 3 hadn't come out by the time that game was made, so they didn't really make Natsumi. Anyways, so back to the characters. So yeah, like I said, this game is really cool because it included a lot of characters. It pretty much included every single main character you could think of in Data Live, right? Like even with Data Bullet coming out, which I really love Data Bullet. But anyway, with Data Bullet coming out, like you have Queen, and then you have like original characters, or at least from what I know, original. I haven't finished all the light novels, so I don't know if this is like a fan-made thing, or if it's like not fan-made, but like a non-official kind of thing, or if it's an official character. And then you have like Shirion, Yoshino, which I honestly don't know if they're like canon or not, but I kind of want to wait to the anime and see just how far the anime goes, and then I'll read the light novel. But then this game also had a lot of collabs. Now it had the certain scientific railgun collab. So you have Mikoto Misaka, and you also have I think I have her somewhere here. Here you go. Kuroko Shirai, right? Which is like Index is. I don't know if it's the same level of popularity as Data Live, but to me at least, it seems like these two are very popular shows, and for there to be a collab is really cool. Especially because when you think of like Index having global games, or Index or Railgun being in any kind of games for like the global market for like gacha games, there's really only like 2 games I can think of, and that was like Crossing Void and Data Live, right? And then you have like Ice Princess, which is another Yoshino, which is really cool. And then you have Neptune from Hyperdimensional Neptunia. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with the franchise, but that's like a game series that also has an anime, I believe. And then Sang is from Data Bullet. And then you have like Origami, Inverse Origami, and Marina Arisu, which is from the second Data Live visual novel game. And these are the brand new characters that came out with the season 4 of the anime. And then you have like even more Neptunia characters. They actually ended up having 2 Neptunia collabs, which I thought was really cool. And then you have Ice Wallenstein, which is from Danmachi. and I thought that was really cool. I remember playing the collab. Sadly, I didn't get the character, but you know, I very much enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cool. And then you have Rio Sonogami from the third visual novel game, and then you have Sally and Maple from I think it's Bovary. The game is not the game, the series is called. So I kind of want to get into a few reasons why I think the game kind of fell off. So much like Crossing Void, there was a lack of content that they were doing, and obviously I think they ran out of characters, right? I think they pumped out too many characters. I don't know where I'm going. They pumped out too many characters too fast, and so when you have like this like amount of characters, I guess like even someone for like me, right? I've never really spent money on this game. Just casually played, and see, I've got like a full 5-star Kurumi, right? I've got full star Toka. I've got, you know, Mayuri, which is really cool. Like, there's barely any games that represent Mayuri. There's barely anything that represents Mayuri in literally. Even I don't think she even has an official light novel, right? I think she's only just film exclusive. I might be wrong on that, so please let me know if I'm wrong. Where do I go for the... Right, okay, so I need to go here. Okay. So now what I want to do is I kind of want to go through the costumes and I'll continue talking. So another cool aspect of this game, right? Not that it was my like absolutely preferred like amazing thing. This game was kind of like a visual novel, in the sense that you, as you played with your character and as you interacted with like your preferred spirit, you'd unlock these daily like day events, kind of, where you'd interact and be like a visual novel, and you'd have routes, and you'd get like CGs or you'd get rewards at the end of these routes. And I thought that was really cool. That was a really important part of the game. So they kind of removed it in the new version, but I'll talk about that in a second. Where I'll compare all the versions, or not all the versions. There are really only two. And they also have these really cool, like, I don't think you can call them CG backgrounds, but they're more like outfit backgrounds that you grab for your characters, then you equip it, and then once you log in, this will be like your main menu kind of thing, accompanied with music, which is really cool, right? And like I said, I never spent any money, so I never really had any of these. Like, I never really owned any of these. So yeah, so anyway, the old version was, they rushed all the content, they really rushed it. So like those characters coming out, there weren't really any events, like, so you had your standard story mode, and then you had like stuff to grind for, but that's all the game was. It was only grind. And obviously most games, right, they're only grind, but you didn't really get many rewards for it. Actually, I'll go from the start. So you don't really get rewarded, because the way you'd be rewarded is either you get currency to get a new character and then you grind that character, or B, you grind the character to make your character stronger, and then once your character's at max, you just kind of do another character. And then there comes a certain point very fast that you just realize, well, you know what, one, I don't really want to play the game because it's just grind and I don't feel rewarded, and two, it's like, or like I said, like, you don't get rewarded, but also it's not very satisfying, and it just gets boring because it's very repetitive, and they didn't make any real events to kind of mix things up. Like, if you take a look at like Crossing Void, for example, when it had its events, I know it's a very different style of game, right? Crossing Void was more like a turn-based fighting game, or like an RPG sort of, but not really. A turn-based game, whereas this is more like a beat 'em up, hack and slash kind of game. But Crossing Void, when it was doing events, it was doing like special summer events and so on and so forth. This game, all it had was like you'd farm the same kind of missions like story mode, and you get tokens and you put those tokens in slots, and then you'd randomly get a piece of something. Or like maybe eventually if you farmed enough you could get like a CG or something like that, or summons, which doesn't really feel you don't really feel like you're earning much, because the rewards weren't that great either. Like you'd farm and you'd have to farm a lot to get like CGs, but even if it's like summons, you kind of just, you know, it's very lackluster is the word. Now here we have Brilliant Night Toka, one of my favourite CGs or backgrounds, I guess. And they made a lot of costumes, and a lot of it was you have to pay for it, or you have to grind the battle pass, which, yes, they did have a battle pass. You'd have to grind it like a lot, like really a lot. And we get cinematic. Whoa. So this kind of stuff is really cool, right? But I think where they went wrong was you can only pay for this, right? I'm fairly sure you can grind or farm to get something like this, which is a shame, right? I feel like if they would have taken their time and released more of these for like free to play, and they did like custom events for it where you'd have custom fights or maybe something different, because the story mode has different modes, right? Or at least it used to. I don't think it has anymore. But you used to have like normal fights, and then there was like a bullet hell mode, which was like really cool during the Yoshino part. But then it disappeared and it never came back. And it's like, well, if you're able to do something like that in the game, surely you can do something else. And then in the old version they introduced this thing where you have like a ship and you explore, or I don't know if this was a new version. No, I think it was the old version. You have a ship and you explore, and that was just kind of like, why do I want to do this event? It's so boring. Like, you clearly want to do an event where you can take your characters into fights and enjoy these fights with said characters that you've grinded and farmed up or spent like your gems on. And the game wasn't really satisfying in that aspect. And it was a real shame, because, you know, I really did like this game. I still do like this game, but I just don't play it because, well, not only do I feel like I've kind of gotten everything I've got, well, obviously the game's shutting down, so that's kind of why I'm giving up, right? But even if the game wasn't shutting down, I hadn't played this game for like months, simply because, well, one, they're just not doing any content anymore, but that's probably a sign due to the game like preparing to shut down. But even beforehand, like a year before that, they just weren't releasing content. Like, they'd release, for example, one of the hypers characters they could possibly release being like Hunten Toka, right? And all they'd have is you can do like a trial, and then you have to do like 5 fights with Hunten Toka, and you get like, what, a single? And you can maybe farm some currency and you can get like 5 singles. Which is like, really, like, you need more. You need at least, I feel like, a multi per, I don't know, event, especially when it's a banner like this, right? Where the drop rates are kind of low, and clearly they're not selling you the characters, they're selling you what comes with the character, mostly. So what I mean by that is, like, I mean, just look at how many skins I've gone through of, like, Toka, right? There are so many. And there are so many of Origami as well. And Origami doesn't have, I mean, she has, like, inverse Origami, and she has, like, I think she has 4 variants. But she has obviously a lot more skins than she does have variants, and that is clearly what they were trying to sell people, because that's like the first thing you see when you get into the game. They're like, hey, we've got a new skin for this character. And this is one of my favourite things, like backgrounds, just like inverse Origami. Just, I think that's cool. Have I skipped one? Yeah, I have. My bad. Now, the mechanics of this game as well. I think another big problem that happened was how in the new update. So I was pretty hyped for the new update. And they kind of changed how battles work. They changed character skills. They removed skills for certain characters. They added some for others. But I'll just finish Origami and I'll show you this in a second. Okay, let me go back. Let me go to my characters. Right here. And you'll kind of see once I get to a certain character. See here, it says in top, in remaking, this is temporary display of skills, effects and stats. What this means is that, like, if I go to cultivate and I want to go to skills, her skills are under maintenance. So I have a Mikoto Misaka that I can like do normal attacks with and potentially one skill, but that is it. I can't do anything with her. And every single character behind Misaka, except for like, well, I guess it's not every, but like every collab character and every character that's like, you know, half of these characters that I don't have here, which is like maybe a third of the game, don't have all their skills. Now, this is obviously due to like they're remaking the game, so they want to redesign every single character, make them special. But obviously they really took their time with that, and I think that was a really fatal flaw. I think what they should have done is just keep most of the characters as they are and maybe tweak it a little bit instead of deciding we're going to redesign every single character. I think it was a bit too ambitious. Now it really does pain me to see this game go. Okay, we're just gonna skip that one. See, now I don't mind when it's Toka, but Yoshino's a bit sus, you know. See, like all these skins, right? This is clearly what they're selling. They're selling cosmetics. So I'm thinking maybe they should have approached this game in a very different way. And maybe they should have done like an approach of like, okay, well, you have every single character. Maybe they should just done a different kind of game, right? I'm not saying do like a MOBA or something with Day Alive. I mean, I would play that, but that's besides the point. What I mean is, clearly there was like a disconnect with players and the developers, because I don't think players really, especially me, or at least me, I mean, I kind of had trouble, getting these skins and just enjoying the game really, because, well, there wasn't any unique content. And that's really what it comes down to. This game didn't have unique content. Okay, I'm just going to speed up actually, because we have a lot of characters left and I want to archive everything I can. Now, clearly Kurumi was like one of the big budget characters. It's like, oh yes, Kurumi Tokusaki, one of the most popular fictional anime characters. Yes, let's give her all the good CGs, especially the cat one. No, I skipped Kotori. Now it is, it's a shame that like one of the only Data Live games, I mean, there, from what I know of, there have really only been 2 official games that have, gacha games or mobile games, that have included Data Live in the roster. or that have had to do with Day Alive in like a main slot or in a main way. So I'm not talking about like collaborations. So there was Fantasia Bunko with, I think it was Rebuilders or something, Recreators. I forgot what it was called. Redivers? I can't remember. Which I covered that on the channel, and that is the reason why I played that game. And that shut down. And now we have this game, which is shutting down its global servers. Now, the Japanese side of this game will continue, and I think that's what they're kind of focusing the most on, because the Japanese version of this game is a lot more popular. See, like, even these guys don't like Mana. Mana is like, yeah, she still is, and will forever be the like worst character you can pull on this game, at least for me. It's like, okay, you do a multi, oh, there's a character, who is it? Fucking Mana. And it just ruins everyone's day. See, they have some really cool things, right? But all of these were paid, and they were quite expensive. From what I remember, these were like 20 euros. Something within that range, which is quite a lot. 20 euros is like the equivalent of an old Call of Duty Zombies DLC, or Call of Duty DLC, right? Which is, I think, is really expensive for what it is. Right? Like, shouldn't have been nearly as expensive as this. I think this game should have been a turn-based game, because this is a game that kind of demands a lot of concentration, that you stick on this that you play this game quite a lot, and I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have concentrated on doing a turn-based game where you have all these characters, and then they can make different versions of these characters, so then they can increase the roster, and these characters have different effects, and then they can sell skins and like CGs to go with said characters, so you can casually play it, you get the cool ultimates, the visually nice ultimates, but you don't have to concentrate so much, because this game is a grind. It was a massive grind, and the only grind there was really was story mode. Then you had like the grind to get like XP and to get like XP and to build your character, and that was it. There wasn't like, there was like challenging content, but it's not really enjoyable because it takes a really long time to get to that challenging content, and you have to do it every single day, so you stay at that level, because otherwise you go all the way down. Now they know what they were doing with this one. Mayuri, one of my favourite characters in this game and in the whole series of Day Alive. I think have I already shown? Yeah, I have already shown. No, I haven't. Have I? No, yeah, I have. Okay. And then you have Natsumi, which, to be honest, I pulled her, but I've never played her, I don't think. No, I do know of when I used to not play this game, but I used to like look what the, because originally it was a Chinese version, and I don't know if they're still keeping the Chinese version live, but there's a YouTube channel that used to cover this game. I don't think they do anymore. I think they cover more what's it called, Princess Reconnect, the gacha game, and that channel is called Elv, just ELV, and I thought that was a really cool channel. It was really cool that they were covering this game, because there's not a lot of channels that actually covered this game, and I mean, my channel, not that it's anything special, but I didn't really cover this game. All I did was like a starter guide, right? So like even like the what do you call it? The collaboration characters had like CGs and like background effects, which was like so cool. Right, I mean, they had like Index as like your main screen character. This is the stuff we needed in this game. We needed unique versions of characters that you can just like interact with and talk with, and maybe put in your home screen. So, say if they had like Index, I wouldn't have minded if this game had like more content. I wouldn't have minded paying like 5-ish euros, 4 or 5-ish euros to have like Index as the like main character on my screen, right? And you know, they could have done so many things with, maybe they could have added like those more different characters in Data Live and different versions of characters from just many different scenes, right? So that's that. And we're almost there, almost done. Kind of. Here's Rene. Here's Shiori, best girl. I don't know about that, but you know, top 5 at least. And yeah, like I said, it is a shame that this game is going. See, I remember like a video that Elle posted of like when Maria was finally coming to like the game, and I was like, oh my god. And they posted this video of like, I think it was either Maria or Marina on like the piano or something, or with the violin, and I thought that was like so cool. And I was really hyped. So I don't know who this character is. I'm guessing this is from a Neptunia. Almost there. See, and you can have like Hestia as like kind of like Index, where she's like a character in your home screen. Almost there. And that's it for the CGs and so on and so forth. So like I was saying, yeah, there's not really like much to do in this game. Like, okay, so there's the story, which is cool, but they got to a certain point with the story where they didn't have any more content to do. Now the original version had these like date things, which as you built up like friendship with your characters, you'd unlock these dates, which you could unlock rewards from, and it had like many different parts. I feel like that could have been a content, like easy content to make, right? Like, or maybe not easy, but you kind of like, you know, you write a scenario, you do that, and so on and so forth, because these are all original scenarios. But I feel like the main problem with that mode, and why they ultimately got rid of it, was how you leveled up the bond between your characters. You had to farm like items, you had to craft them, and there was like a whole system of like what level you were at crafting, and so on and so forth, and it was an absolute like clusterfuck of things, and you didn't exactly know what you were doing, and it took a really long time. And just for one character, you'd have to put all your resources in, and it'd take like a month at least. But I feel like maybe they should have just done something where it's like you use the character, and then you get points. And as you use the character more and more, you get even more points. Kind of like what Fate Go does with like Bond. I think it should have exactly been like that. And instead of like with Fate Go getting like Saint Quartz or like gems for summoning as rewards, you could just like give a scenario or something, because ultimately that's kind of what I think Day Live fans want the most, is the ability to be able to interact with these characters and see funny scenarios, because Day Live is at its core an absurd like the premise of the show. The series is absurd, and it's very comical and funny, and it's very self-aware, and that's what I think a lot of fans really enjoy, as well as the characters, obviously. So see, you have like events, right? But these are just like farming. So this endless corridor is you get like XP and so on and so forth, and you get gems. But there's like 100 levels, and you can't skip it. From what I remember, you have to do every single level, or no, it's more like 5 by 5. But then once you get to like 100, you get like Sephira, which is to boost your characters, and that's it. And see, this is to boost your characters, so once you technically have the characters you want done, if you don't want to do any more, you're done, you don't need to do this anymore. And this is gems to boost your characters. So there's no real events. Theater is like the most unique, which I haven't actually done on this version, so I don't know if they've changed it, but from what I've looked at, it's just like story mode, except for it's things that aren't like to do with the main canon, if that makes sense. So like Mayuri, for example, Mayuri is a film, she's not part of the light novels or the show, so she's part of Theater. Coming soon? No, it isn't. So yeah, I mean, I guess wasn't exactly a really well planned out video, but I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about my thoughts on this game shutting down and kind of look back at the game. And yeah, so what I'm just going to do, I'm going to go into a fight and just do the fight, just to show you what the fighting looks like. I'm not going to do it with every character, I'm literally just going to do this one fight, and then I'm going to end the video. You see, it's quite a, like, you have to be very active in this game, and the sound can be like quite, it's not very, like, when you're playing clearly, it's not really satisfying sound. Because all you hear are like the gunshots, and that's all you hear, and it's really loud or something. So I guess I'll just go until I get like her angel, which is like her ultimate. When we get Zaf Q out. Alright. There you go. Alright, I'm gonna leave now. So yeah, that's the video. I guess let me know on your thoughts on this game shutting down. Have you ever played the game? Did you ever plan on playing the game and just decided not to? Yes, let me know your thoughts. I really like to know. And thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which will come who knows when. We'll find out, won't we?